today in two styles, so I love it. Everybody had a choice. You could sit classroom, or if you prefer, at a table if you want to do a lot of writing. So we're just delighted you're here. We invite you back to the History Center anytime for Lunch and Learn, for any of our programs, to come see the new exhibits as they're getting in place. And with that, so good to see you all, and Mary Mass, take it away.
Okay. I left my captions at home. Welcome, everybody. This is wonderful. This is our annual Cultural Arts Council, Polk Arts Alliance meeting for the year. I can't believe it's 2016, January. We're already looking at February, March, April, May's calendars, which is exhausting. But we wanted to get this kicked off as soon as possible. You've all heard that we are partnering with Americans for the Arts on the Prosperity Report, which is really exciting for all of the arts and culture in Polk County. It's going to be an information session today on updates for the Polk Arts Alliance, but more specifically for the Prosperity Report, which we are really excited about. And the big button moves it forward. Okay, there we go. On our mission to cultivate an environment in Polk County for the arts to flourish through advocacy, collaboration, economic development, education, marketing, and promotion. And our vision, Polk County, a thriving creative destination. You as our Cultural Arts Council members have written that mission in the past, and we have tried the Polk Arts Alliance as your agency and advocacy voice to fulfill that mission. And this past 4 years, we were successful in advocating to get extra funding, more funding, dedicated funding for the first time in Polk County through the bed tax. We were successful in that, and now I'm glad to say that we are done with that particular issue, other than being a advocate to make sure that that is maintained, and helping everyone to apply for the grants that are now up. And that information I will be going over shortly with all of you. But going forward, our conversation with my board has been to what is it that the arts community needs now? And my goal had always been to market the arts in Polk County, as we always said, which I hated, that the arts and culture in Polk County was a great secret. And we worked at that, but we haven't dedicated as much time to it as I would like to. And so that's going to be our mission going forward, both with economic impact, which the Prosperity Report is going to help us launch that initiative when we actually get to prove the numbers for economic impact, but also arts and education and marketing and promotion, which we've accomplished a lot, partnering with TDC and our Visit Central Florida partners, but also out of our symposium in September, been approached by WVDU and PBS, and they want to do a lot more partnering with us. That will also be reflected on our website, and also with our calendar of events, which we want to also kick it up a notch. So we're looking forward to an exciting year, but also a very productive year and a lot of work ahead. For the agenda today, first of all, I'd like to introduce my board members. If you would raise your hands. Okay. I don't know if everybody would like to make introductions, just announce who you are so we know who's in the room. We could just go around starting with the first row. It shouldn't take too long. And we have our new reporter here from the Ledger. We'll start with you.
Yeah, Paul Catala just started with the Ledger yesterday, coming from Highlands today on Sebring. So I'm here not only doing a story, but networking. So anybody's got good feeds, let me know. Nice to meet you.
Be careful what you say.
Yeah. Right.
Joan, I'm not going to ask you to get up since you're in charge of technology, but she is the president of the Polk Arts Alliance this year, and as you can see, is our technology guru. We were going to put this on Periscope. We didn't get a chance to do that, but we are filming it, taping it, and we will be posting it on the Polk Arts Alliance. So if you want, I can share it with everybody.
Cindy Rodriguez, board member for Polk Arts Alliance, and also a member of the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Subcommittee of the TDC, which is the grant recommendation.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Wiggins. I'm with the Imperial Symphony Orchestra. And I emailed you all.
Oh, good. Great.
Andy?
Andy Crossfield, I'm the treasurer of the Polk Art Alliance.
Good afternoon, I'm Georgianne Carlton, the CEO of Explorations 5 Children's Museum, and I invite you all to join us for Curious George, who's coming to the museum February 2nd through May.
I'm Julie Diaz, I'm of Clock Tower Gardens.
Hi, Martha Roberg. I do the Kids Tag Art Program for the Tax Collector's Office here in Polk County. I'm also Vice President of Polk Arts Alliance.
I'm Don Rayson with Lakeland Concert Band. I'm also a member of the Arts Council, the mayor.
I'm Carol Lear, President of the Lakeland Concert Band.
I'm Morgan Smith, board member with the Lakeland Citrus Lakes Barbershop Forest.
I'm Monica Pierce, Justice for Lake Mills Museum, and I wanted to extend that Tina Peak also is very interested in being here. She's the director of the Lake Mills Library, so she wished she could be here, she just couldn't make it.
I am Tina Miller with Brandon Theater of Fallspread. We have some of our brochures over on the desk about the curriculum and having one of our events.
I'm Carol Ernst, Artistic Director and founder of Florida Dance Theater.
I'm Carolyn Simpson.
I work with Gary Mass with Polk Arts Alliance.
Hi, I didn't know I was going to have to do this. My name is Brendan Patterson. Well, here, it'll be done. My name is Brendan Patterson. I'm the Fine Arts Librarian at the local public library. I also do programming, but we try to get everybody to come into the library because we do lots more than just books.
I'm Deb Hendricks, the editor of Artifacts Magazine.
Nancy Lozelle, Polk State College, Lake Mills Arts Center.
I'm Ocean Craig. I'm the Director of Arts and Cultural Affairs at Polk State College.
I'm Sarah Roberts. I'm the Executive Director of Polk Vision.
I'm Gary West with the Polk Art Alliance and also with the TDC Art, Culture, and Heritage.
Again, I'm Myrna Young, Historic Preservation Manager, Polk County History Center. I'm Anita Strang with Polk Arts Alliance. I'm the Director for Main Street in Winter Haven and Greater Parsons Area Project.
Patricia Lamb, past president of Polk Arts Alliance.
I'm Sharon Quisler, President of the Lakeland Art Guild, and I own Visual Concepts in Lakeland.
I'm Jamie. I'm the Curator of Education and Programming at the Polk County History Center, and I'm here to help out with technology and learning.
I'm sorry, Stan, before the meeting's over, if y'all want to give me business cards, that would help. So bring them back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all, and thank you all for coming. I know how busy we are, but this is really exciting. One of our new board members, Claire Orlovis from the Polk Museum of Art, has come down with something awful, and she felt it wouldn't be fair to share with everybody. We're really grateful that she decided to stay home and take care of herself. She is our new board member, and she is going to be helping and partnering with all of us as Q&A and mentor for this process for the Prosperity Report. So she was going to talk a little bit about her vision and what she sees going forward and the importance of this report, but obviously she's not here. So you will be hearing more from Claire as a new board member and as our partner for the Prosperity Report. How many here know of the Americans for the Arts? Okay, we were fortunate enough this year to be invited to participate for the Prosperity Report. What that's going to do for the arts and culture and heritage in Polk County is to actually prove the numbers that arts and culture has an economic impact and is important. We all know that. It's the business community that we need to prove that to. This report, because it's not being done in Polk County individually, but it's being done nationally, is going to promote that. It's going to give us logistics and specific numbers that we will be able to then partner with our economic development offices, both municipality and countywide, and prove that we are important. We are actually the 5th largest business community employer based on numbers that we have gathered that are like numbers and not the numbers that will come forward with this report. The creative industry sector, which everyone in this room is a part of, is a report that we had done several years ago that proves that we are the 5th largest employer. Oh, my little arrow is missing. That's what happens when you transfer. Anyway, we fit between 5 and 6, number 5 and 6 as far as an employer. If you can see the amount of arts-related businesses in Polk County. That report was done by Americans for the Arts for our September symposium, which is what the light bulb went off, and we said, why can't we have a unified study done for the entire county so we can actually show how great our arts and culture is in this county. There it is. Also, for the first time ever, the Bureau of Economic Analysis has taken arts and culture production and used it on a national grand scale for measuring GDP. They did it out of pressure from Americans for the Arts and the NEA. What they didn't realize or expect were the numbers. And again, we are one of the largest job creators in the world, actually. So we will be able to fit in this category, and also this study is going to be included in a national study. We will have a Florida report, we will have a Polk County report, but we will also be on the national platform with several other states. This is just a sample. The Lakeland Mayor's Council on the Arts started an arts economic impact report, and as you can see, based on 8 organizations out of 16 total organizations, just in the city of Lakeland, it's over $26 million. When we presented those numbers, and this was done through Florida Southern College, Dr. Larry Ross, but also with Americans for the Arts and the Bureau of Economic Analysis, those numbers were not believed at first, but no one could ignore the fact that it was done with a national organization. And so we're really excited to include every arts organization in the entire county, and I can't even imagine what those numbers are going to be. For our symposium, Americans for the Arts actually just took Black Tower Gardens and did an economic impact based on their formula, and it's $9.4 million. That's just one organization. So we are really excited to be invited to partnership, and I think this is going to be a great advancement for all of us in the county. I did a little umbrella with the cultural arts sector so everybody could see how vast and large that is. It's not just the painting on the wall or the music, it is the entire cultural arts sector. We need your participation. This is going to be Claire's piece. If we don't have a unified group to work on this impact, I know everybody's busy, and we will do everything we can, the Polk Arts Alliance, to help with any volunteers, information, etc. That you will need from us to help with getting these numbers. It starts this month and is going through January 2017, and the report will be out June of 2017, and of course we will do another economic impact / symposium announcement when that happens. The details on this, it really is not time-consuming or difficult other than the fact that we need your 100% participation. We want to include all members, and those are the members that are in the current issue of Artifacts, and the list will be provided. I have to provide the list to Americans for the Arts as required to begin the process. And we are going to begin that process in 2 weeks, because tomorrow I head out for an orientation meeting with Americans for the Arts to actually get my marching orders on what I need to do to help everyone. The process is 2 things. It's audience surveys, and they are requesting 50 surveys, up to 50 surveys. They don't want any more than 50 surveys per performance. And they also don't mind if it's a small organization, a small event, whether you get 2 surveys or you get 10 surveys or 50 surveys. They want those. There will be a cover sheet, which they're calling it a batch report, and that's what the Polk Arts Alliance will need to collect from you. And I will be providing to you the surveys, the batch cover sheet, and We are requesting that you choose the events that you would like to have the surveys filled out. It's a one-page survey. It's not very difficult. It basically asks, your zip code, where you're from, how long are you here. It's very simple, but it's a national survey that's used statistically throughout the country. We will provide both paper and PDF with the surveys if you'd rather print them out or have them on hand in case you run out. We will arrange the collection. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that yet. I haven't figured that one out yet. We are also going to provide a buddy mentor system, so if you're not comfortable with this and you want help, if someone from the Folk Arts Alliance or Claire or the museums, anyone, Bach Tower, I know Georgianne has helped in the past, we will set up a system to come and help to make sure that we do this, because the more events that we're able to collect surveys on, the greater impact it will have overall. And so we're encouraging as many events as possible. One of the requirements, too, is that you include at least one free event in the data collection. We are going to try and collect the surveys quarterly. Our next meeting is in April. It's April 26th, and it's at the Polk Museum of Art. We're at that time going to be going over art marketing ideas and initiatives, the help that you may need, and also Bev is going to be there to talk about artifacts and what she needs and going forward to advance the arts marketing. But we are going to ask you all to bring a batch or what you have collected so far to that meeting. But I will be sending emails to everybody. I'm also going to send an email to everyone just to verify that you do want to participate in this study. So going forward, any questions on the prosperity report that I can answer or try to answer at this moment?
These surveys that we're collecting, you want them collected between now and April, and then we're done with those surveys for this segment?
Well, we're asking for surveys from now through December.
Okay.
But what I think will be easier to do is to collect the batches or the surveys quarterly, rather than pick them all up at the end of the year. Because also for their process, what I have to do is copy everything, record from who we picked what up from, and then send that off so that they're not scrambling at the last minute to put all the information in. So we're going to try and do it. I'm saying quarterly, but maybe every 3 months or so. Cindy?
Just a question for the benefit of the group here. Once all the data is collected and the numbers are crunched and they have an outcome, when can we expect that outcome to be published?
June 2017. That's the launch date.
Mary, I'm not sure I understand. This is for calendar year events, 2016, January to December.
Correct.
Data for calendar year this year. Okay.
Correct.
Starting January.
Starting right now.
Or as soon as you get the forms?
Yes.
And will there be an opportunity for the individual organizations to get their own economic footprint?
I don't know that. That's one of the questions I have to ask. I want both individual, municipality, and countywide. And I don't have an answer for that. I'll have that after this orientation that starts tomorrow. Yes, sir.
I will point out, though, that due to the fact that Polk County sees a tremendous influx of tourists, we're going to see the majority of the impact here in just a couple of months. March, April, when the majority of the tourists are here. So it's good that we're getting a head start on it now so that we'll get an idea as to what we need to do by the time that the real crush occurs.
Exactly.
So we should see that survey from you as soon as you get back from your conference?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And again, feel free with any questions, concerns, call me, call any one of my board members, call Bev. We're here to help. And it seems a little scary and confusing, but it's only 2 pages. It's not a big deal, but the results is going to be huge. And we'll all be able to use those numbers going forward for both local and county and statewide impact for the arts. As you know, with Division of Cultural Affairs and the state, we have issues. This is what it looks like. This is the last one. This is the Prosperity Report 3. There was a 4, and there will be a 5.
It's on the web. It's all on the
Yes.
Arts website.
And Americans for the Arts, you can go there and pull up your actual, you can actually pull up your county's economic impact numbers. The last one that was done was 3, and I really don't think that we did a very good job. I was new on the job. We didn't have a lot of participation. We had all the large organizations that participated, but I really think that it's probably triple what those numbers were. Anything else? Okay. As you all know, we've just started the Tourist Development Council Visit Central Florida grants process. We had a meeting, last week, on the grant application going forward. I have included on the table, if you didn't pick up one of the sheets, the actual information from Visit Central Florida on the new workshops. One of the new requirements is that you have to attend a workshop, only one. They're doing 2, the Folk Arts Alliance is doing 2. You have to, or someone from your organization, it doesn't have to be you personally, needs to attend a workshop if you are going to apply for grants this year. So the dates have been set. I just got them yesterday, which is why we haven't set our workshops, but I'm saying they will be in March. The grant schedule is Tuesday, February 9th from 9 to 10 a.m. in Auburndale at the Sports Marketing Building. And then Tuesday, February 16th from 6 to 7 p.m., which is the first, also in Auburndale. I think what we're going to do is split it up between maybe Polk Museum of Art or somewhere, and then possibly Bach Tower. So we'll have 2 areas to have our workshop. One of the things, if you want help in filling out the grant application or to learn about the issues and the things that you should be looking at to make a strong grant application, that's what we do at our workshop. And I'm fortunate to say that Cindy will be there, and she sits on the Arts Council. She's very helpful in saying, please don't do this, and please don't do that, but this is what you really need to do to get extra points. So it's a really helpful workshop, and I will be sending those out.
Mary,
yes.
I think the other thing that's really valuable about the Folk Arts Alliance workshops that might be a little different from what the TBC does, because the TBC kind of goes over the nuts and bolts of what's required, check this box, check that box, do this, make sure you don't leave this blank, make sure you include all these forms, or we're gonna pitch it, or we're gonna give you a week to fix it before it goes to the committee, and then anything that hasn't been corrected could DQ you. But what we do is we talk about not just the boxes that you have to check, but the content and how to make a richer presentation so that you get a higher score, because all of you know that the score is what correlates to dollars. So if you're asking for $10,000 and you score an 80%, your maximum take home is $8,000. But if you score 95%, then you're looking at $9,500. So that score is critically important, and the content and the information that you're providing to us as scorers when we evaluate that is really important. The other thing that happens at our workshops that doesn't happen at the TBC workshops as much is that we actually hear from member organizations that can help answer questions about the reporting side on the back end, and those things that ensure that you actually get your grant, because remember, it's a reimbursement grant. You get the promise of the money up front, but you have to turn in all the paperwork and the receipts and all the hoo-ha on the backside to actually see money. So I think it's helpful to hear from member organizations to say, okay, these are the challenges we've had, these are the things that have worked well for us. So it's a really good opportunity to collaborate with other organizations.
Cindy, do we know how much money is available this year?
We don't have a dollar amount yet, but I expect that it'll be north of about $600,000.
That's good.
Yeah, and the next Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee meeting is March the 3rd. That's the grants committee that gets together and discusses the grant process for this year. So I just put that in there. You don't have to attend that, but I put that in there for your information. And I don't know if they'll have those dollar figures available at that meeting. They But the workshops, somebody has to attend a workshop from your organization if you're going to apply.
And that's new this year.
Yeah, and I don't, it doesn't matter which one you go to, but if you want help in filling out the grant, then our workshop is great for that. The other thing Cindy does is talk about when clients are crazy, that's in the grant applications or missing in the grant application, so that's a big help. Oh, this is a big one. Okay, I spoke a little bit about how the Folk Arts Alliance is your arts agency, your county arts agency. We go to Tallahassee, we go to Washington, we're with Americans for the Arts on your behalf. We work with the Board of County Commissioners and local mayors, councils, etc., to advocate on your behalf. But what is it that you need from the Folk Arts Alliance at this point? What would you like to see us grow up to be? What are your needs and what are your frustrations? We are going to have Dr. Larry Ross and working with Martha Roberts, and she's a sterling consultant and teacher, to put together the survey to send out to all of our Cultural Arts Council members to find out what it is that you would like to see us provide to you going forward. What are we missing? What is annoying, etc. So what we did today is we just did some blank pieces of paper. Martha's going to hand them out. They're anonymous. You don't need to sign your name. And if you could just jot down questions that you'd like us to include on the survey, or issues that you have, anything that you may want to provide to us at this point for them to put the survey together. Martha and Larry are going to work with the council members and Claire and Bertus and putting those questions together before we send out the survey. I would imagine that that's probably going to be sometime in March, so that we'll be able to discuss it at our April meeting. As our efforts in advocacy to bring the importance of the arts to the forefront of Polk County, I'm happy to say that we've made a lot of strides. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, but we've made a lot of strides. And in that, we've created some great partnerships, statewide as well as local. One of the things with the Prosperity Report that I'm excited to announce is that our Central Florida Development Council, the CFDC, has agreed to partner with us to help promote, create a sector for arts, culture, and heritage. So we will be able to use these numbers. They will also use these numbers when they're attracting new business, as well as reporting on new business that exists in this county. The sector is large. We just not have been able to prove that as a collective group. So I'm excited to say that the CFDC is going to partner with us. Also, I've been working with Polk Vision probably 6 years now. When we first started working with Polk Vision, their quality of life team had a line that said quality of life included arts, culture, tourism, and recreation. After 3 years, we were able to change that to sports and recreation and tourism, and then have a separate line item for cultural life. Now I'm happy to say that Polk Vision has recognized the importance of the arts in this county, and this is in perfect alignment with our prosperity report that we'll all be able to use. And so they are going to create a separate team for arts, culture, and heritage. And Sarah is here to talk about that. You're up, Sarah.
Can you all hear me without it?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. Stresses me out more than it's not worth
Big button, little button.
the hives that you'll see on my neck if I have to use a microphone. I'm Sarah Roberts. I'm the Executive Director of Polk Vision, and I'm so happy that Mary asked me to be here today. Polk Vision, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the organization that's been around since 2004 and our new alignment process that we're really happy about, and it's been going on now for almost 2 years. But I want to give you a little backstory,
and then we'll go forward with that. And I'll go quick. This is a lot of text, but I'm not going to read every word because many of you were probably involved in this process in the beginning. So in 2003, the powers that be of the county came together and said, we need a long-term vision. Where's Polk County going? We have 17 municipalities, 2,200 square miles, lots of different people who live and work here. We need to sort of see where we're going. So the United Way at the time, Board of County Commissioners, and some other stakeholders, USF Lakeland was one of them, came together and said, let's hire a consultant. Visioning was a big deal at the time, late 90s, early 2000s. Lakeland Vision had already started, I think, in the late 90s. And so they came together and hired a guy that came in. His name was Henry Luke. And he did really a county-wide process of visioning. Every angle of the county was covered. So there were focus groups, community meetings, task forces convened on different topics to find out from the community at large, key stakeholders, business leaders, moms and dads, parents, preachers, everybody could come together to any of these meetings. The Ledger was a big partner. They highlighted all the town meetings. They would run full-page ads at the time to galvanize as many people as possible to come together and say, this is what's important to me as a Polk County person. And that long-term vision was created with strategies and benchmarks at that time as a result. It is not, it's 72 pages, is the original vision document. It's a little dry, I'll tell you. There aren't pictures. There's not even a cohesive font size, which makes me a little batty as an advertising major. But it's a really great document, and a lot of it is really true to form today. Yes, it's been 11 going on 12 years, but it's still really important. So in 2004, it was created as a nonprofit organization, 501c3. I just like to show this graphic because this is where all the town hall meetings and focus groups were convened. So it was pretty much everywhere. And that's really important because it didn't matter whether you're from Bradley Junction or Davenport or Lakeland or Winter Haven. This wasn't a Lakeland Winter Haven thing. This was every corner of the county. So that's why we still think it's pretty valid today. So back then, there were 6 focus areas that came to be, and they were in preferential order. Education, economic development, infrastructure, government, quality of life, and civic engagement. We all agree education's pretty important? Yes? Yeah.
Yes.
This is yes. This is no. This is an interactive presentation. We all think that's really important, and everything leads to education. I said when I came 4 years ago to Polk Vision that it's kind of like Sophie's Choice. If you ask me as the executive director which one's most important, I can't tell you. Because I think art is equally as important as education, and I think economic development is equally as important as art, and I think it's all interrelated, and I can't pick one. So, quality of life, this is the one section I pulled out for you all today. What we said was, in 2004, that by 2024, we'll have a quality of life that encourages diverse backgrounds to live in harmony while developing physically, spiritually, mentally, and culturally within a healthy and safe environment. And then they broke it into these several categories. Healthcare, obviously, wellness is really important. We're all got to be healthy in order to go to work and to have a quality of life. A sense of community. That's a lot of different things, mostly heritage activities, so it should be bolded, but it's also about, that's some of our safety pieces. Arts, culture, recreation, entertainment, which Mary referred to, family and youth, social services, public safety, and senior population. So to go up to the culture, arts, culture, recreation, entertainment, there were 7 strategies underneath that. And they were, I'm going to have to look at them because I didn't type them up for you. They were promote countywide access to arts and cultural facilities, which I think since 2004 we've done really well. Like if we went back and measured that, thinking about this building, thinking about all the arts groups around the county, the historic associations, also Main Street, all the different groups that we have now, the Polk Museum of Art, they're very readily accessible. Lake Wales Arts Center, that's something that I think the county did well. The second one is promote all of Polk County's arts, culture, historical preservation, and tourism assets within the county, the state, and the U.S. Maintain and distribute widely a Polk calendar of arts and recreation activities. Well, the Arts Alliance does that. You can check that out because you have a calendar. 3, create diversified recreational choices for young people. Improve quality and quantity of nightlife, dining, and entertainment. I think we've seen that a lot in all of our communities in the recent years. Improve the quality of arts in Polk County, increase the usage of the facilities, and make Polk County a destination for the arts, culture, and historic preservation. You all have worked together to do that. That's not something Polk Vision can kind of point to and say, yeah, we did that. But I think having a dialogue about it really helps, and I think it might give some weight to the existing organizations and anything that pops up down the road. Develop broader business support for arts and culture throughout the county. Yes. And develop major urban parks throughout the county to provide open green space, nature trail, jogging path, horse riding trails, lakes, etc. So that's what the original document. Do those sound like they're still important today? Yeah. So we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, in essence. So then, this is one of the things I just read you. Create and promote diverse cultural, artistic, and recreational opportunities. And that's from the 2010 refresh document. So the board came together after '04 with the big book and honed it down even further. And again, Polk Vision said, arts, culture, and recreation are important to our county at large, as well as the other bullet points there. So what does this mean today? I started in 2012, and so in 2013, Polk Vision was approached by the county commission and some school board members to take a look at Alignment Nashville, which is an alignment project up in Nashville, Tennessee that solely exists to support education. Their schools were in disrepair. The state was getting ready to take over their school system, specifically for high schools. They were just struggling. They just weren't getting by. So business leaders from the Chamber of Commerce in Nashville and Davidson County said, we're going to throw some money at figuring out how to fix this. How can the business community, because they're all of our schools, fix this? So they came together and created a process called alignment. And what we have done is we were approached kind of through the education vehicle, but our board members had sort of the leadership component to say, we can lay this across all 6 areas. It doesn't just have to be education, because again, we think they're all interrelated. So we were listening to the alignment presentations, and there were several things that jumped out and struck me that they said about their organization. And their organization, funny, started about the same time as ours. I will say they have more teeth and accountability than Polk Vision maybe had initially, where we talk about a lot of stuff, but we don't necessarily put it, the rubber hit the road type thing. And I think this is what really helps us with alignment. So we've now been an active Alignment USA community for a year, and we're real excited about it. So what is it? It's a collective impact organization. Lots of different disciplines coming together to look at one problem, or not even a problem, but one issue, one topic. We're an intermediary. So what I say about Polk Vision is we're Switzerland. We don't care how it's funded. We just say, the community said, and continues to say, fund it. Public transit. It doesn't say in here in infrastructure how to fund it. It says the people of Polk County want public transit. So that's how we're the intermediary. We don't really have skin in the game where the money comes from. We're really about collaborative work. A convener for community of alignment of strategic goals. So saying the arts community is important, for instance, that's the goal we all need to work toward. Even our other teams. How do we support the arts and heritage and culture? And we'll convene people to talk about it and make a game plan. And then aligning the existing resources. Most people think resources might be money, but that's not the only thing. That we need brain power of other people looking at things that maybe they're not in the arts community, but man, they might have some really good ideas on how to promote it. Or maybe they have some good ideas on how to promote that survey, or get it out to a different group of people and really get their feedback to see what's going on. So convening the different resources out there and aligning them for the common good. The process is really 4 things. It's principles. We say we play nice together. So we actually have guiding principles that say you check your agenda at the door. So I might come in as the Polk Vision rep, but I'm not going to bulldoze Polk Vision into the Arts Alliance. I'm going to say, how can we help, the rising tide lifts all boats. How can we all work together on this one topic? And I'm bringing in my expertise, maybe in my nonprofit career, in my personal interest or something like that, but I'm checking my agenda at the door. It's not about what Polk Vision gets out of this. and that's one of our principles. The structure of it, you'll see I'm going to show you a sample of the tactical plan. So you convene a group of people, build a plan, and then work it. The process, how do you engage after you have a plan? Who do you engage in that plan? And we'll talk about that in a minute too. Sometimes it's what we call unusual suspects. So it might be someone where you've created a plan that you want to promote the Heritage Trail or something like that, and you send out an invitation to participate for people to talk about Heritage Trail and to come together and promote it, and there's somebody maybe from a petroleum group that says, I want to be involved in that because the petroleum industry has X, Y, and Z they can offer. Well, who would have thought that? You know, that's just a part of the process where you get unusual people involved. And then technology. We have a portal that we use that monitors this work. So these are the steps of alignment. The individual organizations strategically align, you identify resources, coordinate those, collaborate among the partners, align all the resources to hopefully have systemic change. This is directly from Alignment Nashville, so it's a little bit more about education. If a school's struggling and we align resources to help that school or that high school kids or a pilot project of middle school students, you align everything and collaborate among partners to see behavioral change. Maybe more students are attending school better because we have low attendance rates. Maybe they're graduating at a higher rate. That's the systemic change. Within this community, I'm not real sure what the systemic change would be, with the exception of utilizing that prosperity report to show the business community really the impact of art and culture and heritage. I'm trying to go fast, Mary.
That's okay.
All right, I'll tell you how we work. We have an overarching board of directors, and this is basically the same system we've had for a while, just with the enhanced with the operating board level. But the board of directors are, I can tell you right now, we have a county commissioner, the county manager, school board reps, we have the CEO of Lakeland Regional, Greg Littleton from Citizens Bank. So it's a good mix, as many of your boards are, of private, public, and businesses. And we're real pleased. They meet bi-monthly, and they look at the overarching, how we operate, you know, our financial structure, what we're doing. We're making sure we're crossing all of our T's and dotting our I's. And then there's the operating board. So if you look at the 6 focus areas I mentioned earlier, economic development, education, quality of life, government, infrastructure, and civic engagement, each of those subgroups or groups, so economic, for instance, economic development has no subgroups under it right now. They're an existing team. So their chair and vice chair sit on our operating board. Then under education, we have multiple teams. We have a literacy team, and we also have an attendance team right now. Then under quality of life, which is where this group falls, and with arts and culture and heritage, I couldn't fit it all on that orange box. We have a new team that we're working on developing with Murtis and Claire and partners and Mary to build out that team, and I'll talk specifically about what it will do. Then we have Building a Healthier Polk. It's addressing the obesity issue of Polk County. We're the 7th most obese metropolitan service area in the country. So they've been addressing it for 3 years, and we've seen great gains in that by aligning resources. Our government team does a couple different events. Our infrastructure is a standalone team plus a broadband team. And then we have under civic engagement, the Leadership Polk class. If several of you have been through Leadership Polk, and we're on our 9th class right now. We also have Leadership Polk alumni. So we engage them as volunteers into this whole process. So the tactical plan, and this is really, I took out, actually I'm going to back up. So with regard to teamwork and with regard to arts, culture, and heritage, it would be a combination. It's in development right now in partnership with Arts Alliance and the museum and the Polk Museum of Art. But really looking at not just people in the field of arts, which we welcome, but also people who might be passionate about arts, heritage, and culture, who might work at the bank, or they might work in a school or something, and having that cross-pollination, which is the big thing that we like to talk about. So when we sit around a table and look at an issue or look at where we want to go in our vision, it takes a lot of different brains to look at that and address it and make the game plan and then work the game plan later on. I'll give you a couple examples of things we're working on right now in different teams, and that might help you apply it as an example to the arts and culture and heritage team. And I think we're coming up with a new name for it because that is a mouthful. and B, there already is a committee. So it's called that. So we don't want to replicate. That's the other thing about alignment. We don't duplicate or replicate services. It's really about having people coming and sharing what's going on and then working together to lift everyone up and help everyone as much as possible around the county. But economic development, for instance, is looking at developing a tactical plan on incentives for new and growing businesses throughout the county. Cultural industry included, creative industry included. See, all those words blend together. But creative industry included. And so it's a really exciting time because they're looking at working with the government team and the infrastructure team to look at sales or tax incentives for business growth. But we can come up with maybe some creative ways of how that can continue to help the TDC, or how that can help our schools, or how it can build more sidewalks so we're further connected throughout our communities. And I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, because it's probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I rather speak in the mornings when people are awake. But this is just something we're really excited about, and I was pleased that Mary asked me to come and talk about it, because we do deem arts, culture, and heritage very important in our county. Dr. Craig came a couple of years ago. When he came, and Mary and several people sat on our lead forum, which was Learn, Engage, Align, Develop, and it was in June of 2013. And we said, what do you think about arts? We asked 6 panelists. I know I'm missing people, but what do we have in Polk County? And I remember Dr. Craig saying, you have a thriving arts community. And he was literally, you had been here, what, like 3 weeks? Maybe? Yeah. And we roped him into coming because Dr. Holden, yes. And secondly, I think all of us in the room took a big breath and were like, yes, we do have a thriving arts community. We might not all know about it, and that was, again, almost 3 years ago, but that was really exciting to hear. And at our office, just so you know, we're very lean and mean. There's 1 full-time staff and 2 part-time staff. I grew up I danced for 13 years. My child is in LCT's Peter Pan the last weekend of February and the first 2 weekends of March. She's an Indian. And she's very talented, and she can sing and dance, and she wants to go to Harrison. But we are my mom is sitting in the back, is Harriet Rush from Davenport, the Upper East Side of Polk County. Which is where I'm from. But that's what I call it, the Upper East Side. And people think it's New York. That's Polk County. But anyway, arts is a really big part of my personal life and in our office, and we've always seen the benefit of it. And most people, once you break it down, most of our volunteers all agree that it is a component to life, that when you're talking about a school setting and you don't expose children to the arts, we have big problems. So we work in conjunction with the school district on a myriad of issues, but really what we're here to say, what I'm here to say, is that we're in support of the Arts Alliance, we're in support of the museums, and all of your separate organizations. And this team, we hope, will help elevate the discussion and give you, as we tactically plan throughout the year, give you information to use and share, and just be a better Polk County, the best Polk County that we can be. So that's one. Is that good? Yeah. Yeah, questions? Any questions?
I think of one.
Yes.
You have an overwhelming amount of things to do.
Yes.
How do you prioritize?
Well, here's the great thing. So our teams are comprised of volunteers, and they are really the workhorses of the organization. So when they build a tactical plan together, we rely a lot on our volunteers. We give them the tools, and I help facilitate. We have other team members that come in and facilitate. But I talk about each one of these topics almost every day. So whether it's me bird dogging, something going on with the government team, because we have Polk County Day coming up in a couple weeks, and I just learned that the picture we did at our elected officials summit is 8 feet by 8 feet. I learned that yesterday. And how that's going to show up at the Capitol, I don't really know. So that was a priority today. But every day, the priorities are pretty consistent. There's no, like I said earlier, like Sophie's Choice, nothing really, it depends on the day, but pretty much they're all priority areas for us, because we think if one of those falls off, we're in trouble. Does that help, or do you think that's not a good answer?
I just don't know how you do it. I mean,
I don't either.
Serendipity every day? I mean,
sir?
Serendipity every day? Just whatever the phone
I
rings?
wish it was serendipity every day. No, we have team meetings. We have standing team meetings. Every one of those teams meet once a month regularly. The operating board is once a month. So, for instance, the Quality of Life team meets the second Tuesday of the month at 3:30 at United Way. So the prep for that meeting with our volunteers, that takes a little bit of time, and it's where it falls on the calendar. But if there's, luckily, I'm not doing brain surgery, so no one's going to die if I don't. You know what I mean? Like if a ball drops, the sun's coming up, and we're all going to be okay. But if I was at Lakeland Regional, we would have big problems with serendipity. Yes.
Yeah.
Reporters.
Yeah. Excuse me. You have the new Arts and Cultural Heritage team. Should that be teams?
Team. All those boxes are teams. So when I say teams, plural, but the arts, culture, and heritage is one team.
Right. So all those are the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Each box is a team.
Okay. So you say the new Arts, Culture, and Heritage team. What is the new?
Is Arts, Culture, and Heritage now going to be a blue box?
It will still be an orange box because it's under the umbrella of Quality of Life.
Yeah.
Okay, so there'll be a Arts, Culture, and Heritage team, a new box.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the box is there.
We used to be under...
There used to be a topic within Quality of Life. Now it's going to have its own leadership.
And we're not going to be...
But that's a good question.
We won't be with healthcare anymore.
You won't be with health. Mary doesn't want to be with healthcare.
4 hours
She
later.
doesn't want to be with the obesity team? I don't get it.
Oh, I don't mind that.
She wants donuts at the
That's what I'm saying.
I did that once. In one of our first obesity meetings, I brought munchkins. It was not, well, it was fine. Lots of people were happy.
So to reiterate that you'll have a new Arts and Culture Heritage team under the Quality of Life
Umbrella.
Okay.
Or topic. Other questions? Yes, hi, Amy.
Hi,
Sorry.
Sarah. Are you asking something specific of us right now?
No.
Okay.
This is FYI.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something that you needed me to
Yes,
say.
Amy, I like the aisle center. Write us a check. That's We don't do that. That's a good thing. And everything's the portal. We're actually trying to go paperless, so it's all portal. So it's all paperless. Yes, ma'am.
So there will be measurements that are
Yes.
specific for arts, culture,
Yeah.
and heritage, of which this prosperity report may be important data for.
Yes. So this is a tactical plan is what a team works on, and it's a logic model where you start with the end in mind. So you start with the long-term outcome. In an education model, it would be graduation rates. In an arts model, it would be you could tell me, increase attendance at every Polk County art event by 10%. Long-term is 10 years, mid-term is 3 to 5, and short-term is 1 or less. And then the tactics are the ways you make that happen. So the tactics are the actions. If you're in a measurement, as I know you are, as are many of my friends, it's semantics. So the outcome is really what the team, the collective, defines as the outcome.
Not just an output.
No, those are the tactics, right?
Yeah.
And also, we measure against existing data. So if you're looking at voters, we would measure against Polk County supervisor elections. If we're looking at graduation rates or attendance rates, we're looking at the Polk County School District's strategic plan and their numbers. So the numbers exist, but the team determines collectively how you're going to get there and what you're going to look at. The prosperity report's key. So if you plugged in the prosperity report to this and you say, okay, in 10 years, where do you want that to have gotten us? That would be your long term.
I think what Martha was getting at, though, was let's just say that this project this year and the report next May or June says that instead of $26 million, arts actually represents $88 million for Polk County. Where are you going to plug that into what economic model, I guess is what?
Right. So that's
You found $50 million.
right.
Well, it's information.
I would do a big party for that.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a huge coup, and I'd have balloons and art.
Donuts for everybody.
Plan on it.
Yeah. No, I think the number, I sit on the mayor's thing in Lakeland with Marion. I think the number is going to astound people once you do this report.
And that's where our partnership with CFDC, they'll take those numbers and put them on as a sector. Because right now one of our issues is getting the sector of the cultural arts and heritage recognized and respected, which is what you're doing, is respecting the fact that we are important and not just a issue among quality of life. but we cover arts and education, we cover economic development. You know, whenever you go to the municipal meetings, community meetings, you know, they give you the little stickies to put what's important. You got 4 walls on quality of life, arts, culture, and heritage, and everything else is on a little wall. We've never gotten the respect or the actual data collection to prove that that is important.
Well, just to maybe finish this conversation
Yes.
is that we know how important a vibrant arts community
Yes.
means to CEOs, to parents, recruiters, to parents that you know are deciding what school district they're going to live in and how arts are nurtured in that community. So all of these other areas, all these other teams, really, you know, will help. I think they will be impacted by what we're doing, and so those kinds of outcomes, they're all are interrelated.
And I think to end, the operating board where you have the chairs and vice chairs of all these teams' activities, and they have to approve the tactical plan, so it's pure accountability. And it also, for instance, what happens in our operating board meetings now is really fascinating. So we had a discussion on the obesity forum, and I'll end with this. And we were talking about the forum, but obesity and building a healthier pole. We're having a discussion and we're saying, listen, we have now FitnessGram, which is a measurement mechanism for school students, and all of our schools, don't quote me, I don't know how many schools, but most of our schools have this FitnessGram, you know, going on in their school, which measures BMI and activity and everything. We started looking at that number and we correlated it to academic success. We know because of studies, like the prosperity study, that if a child is active, that they're probably going to be a lot more academic successes. They're going to be successful academically. So we started looking at those 2 columns together. So we're looking at the 2 columns and we're presenting it to the operating board, and the government team vice chair says, we started looking at the bell curve. So when you are kindergarten to 3rd grade, you're really active, you have great BMI. I mean, it makes sense, right, when you're that age. When you start to get into middle school is when you start to see that obesity creep up, and there are a couple of reasons. Technology is one. Independence is also one, because you're making a choice as a middle schooler whether I do something or whether I don't. And also transportation, if you're riding the bus 45, 50 minutes one way, that part of it. And then you start to see, so it goes down, and then it peaks back up again, because when you measure it in high school, most kids in high school that take PE are athletes. They want to be in that class, right? So we're looking at the middle school numbers, and the government team vice chair says, and she's doing this, she's a good friend of mine, so I can pick on her. She's doing this. She picks her head up and she says, have we looked at intramural sports for middle schoolers? Are they waning? Like, is that why these kids aren't active? Because they don't have anything to do after school? And we were all, it was a big aha moment. Well, we didn't think about that, because it took somebody outside of the circle to look at that one issue and say, how about this? And then everybody, because sometimes y'all know, you're in the art world and in the culture world and heritage world, you're like, we're all like this because we're inundated. So when you take those off or have somebody else listening and talking to you, then you can probably unearth new ideas, or at least a new trajectory that maybe we didn't think about before. You know, and that's the important part of operating board, because I think even bringing prosperity report to that group of people will be huge for just those leaders to understand the impact economically, especially the economic development team, but more so the board of directors and the operating board.
Well, and when healthcare person says, I don't get arts and medicine.
Mary almost walked out of the room.
Yeah.
But thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. I hope you weren't bored to tears.
Thank you all. This is very exciting. We're moving the needle slowly but surely. I'm excited about this because, again, it gives us credibility and it gives us respect, and we all deserve that as businesses, because we are not just nonprofit charity arts organizations, but we are all businesses that thrive, and the rest of the world needs to know that, especially our business community. So thank you all. There's a couple of things as far as meetings coming up, just to give you an update, and this will all be on our website. The Division of Cultural Affairs is celebrating diversity through Florida arts culture, and they're having a convening cultural conference 2016. That's February 1st and 2nd at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. I'm going to read this, but it's on the agenda sheet. Should you want to pick one up, I've got the links there to go to if you're interested in one of those meetings. The Division of Cultural Affairs Strategic Plan for the Arts. I sat on their panel last year and the year before. They've come up with what their strategic plan is for the arts around the county, or around the state. They are doing them all around the state, but they've actually committed to Polk Museum of Art to have one of the meetings, and also Bach Tower Gardens. That will be the end of February. We don't have a date yet, so I will send that information out to you, but it's a really informative meeting, and it also would help to get an idea of how they do their grant structure. And many of us have applied for grants at the Division of Cultural Affairs. It's Arts and Culture Day in Tallahassee, and the Florida Cultural Alliance, who is the statewide Folk Arts Alliance, that's my state organization, shows up every year, just like Polk County Day and Tourism Day. Why we can't have them all on the same day, but we don't. And that's January 26th. If anybody can be there, it would make it would be great for our constituents to see a large group up there. That's my next thing, is trying to get everybody on the same page so we can have one trip to Tallahassee instead of 4 trips to Tallahassee. And then National Arts and Advocacy Day in Washington is March 7th and 8th. And then our next Cultural Arts Council meeting will be April 26th at the Polk Museum of Art. And I mentioned this, it's perfect roundup. We will be discussing artifacts and marketing, and our calendar and website should have the survey results back by then, and then also discuss where we're at with the prosperity report. Please look out for emails and information from me on that as updates, as I gave you what I thought was important today, but after this orientation, who knows? They promised me there's only 2 pieces of paper that need to be done, so that is great. Would anybody like to announce what their events are coming up? And are there any other questions, Martha?
I just wanted to follow up with the slips of paper. If you have an idea of a question you think that we should be asking this organization, please put that slip of paper in the basket there. And if you think of something afterwards and you want to email it to me, please feel free to do so. Martha Burke at the Tax Collector's Office, Martha Burke at Polk Taxes.
Or send it to me and I'll forward it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so this is our beautiful second art brochure for the college, which has a ridiculous amount of programming that we have gotten all together under one fantastic umbrella. It's stuff that we do here at the Art Center in Lakeville. Here, I'm in Bartow, I don't know where I'm at. I'm so used to saying here. But this is a tremendous leap forward for us to be able to say you can pick one thing up and find out all the things that we have going on. And it's everything from theater to concerts to art-related lectures to food events to everything. And the lady that is responsible for making this monster come together is right here to my side. So, thank Nancy. It will be available. It is already available online, but we will have this all the time and try to have it out early in August, and then also right either before the holiday break, but most likely right in the first days of January. But everything, and I'll have some up here. Please grab one, because everyone always calls me and says, I heard something was happening, and I literally myself am the first one to go, what's today? Oh, today is, and find out what's going on. So really great stuff going on. Big events that we do have coming up. Sierra Hull, a world-renowned child prodigy mandolin player, is coming to perform twice in Lake Wales. Normally it would cost literally $50-60 a head. It is a free concert. First come, first serve. This is the time to call and make your reservations for that. That is on February 9th. Then on Dallas Brass, we have coming on the 16th. This is why she can tell me all the dates, because I can't remember anything. On the 16th in Winter Haven, with workshops for Polk County school students and our college students who will perform with them in the show on the 16th. That's going to be great. Step Africa is coming after that on February 20th, which is going to be another great concert. So lots and lots of great things happening in the spring. And of course, April will have the Julie Rich Jazz Festival returning, before incredible days of craziness and music. and the majority of those things free. We've partnered again with Bob Tower Gardens for a wonderful concert on their grounds, so excited about that. Please pick up our fantastic brochure that we expect like them to put together.
OSHP, is that available online as well?
It is available online. You can go to the website and if you search for art, every place that there says arts, the brochure, there'll be a little link. If you click it, it will come in a PDF that is very beautiful, but this is so much better because it fits in your purse. It works even when the computer doesn't work. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. As I announced, I sing with the Barbershop Quartet and Chorus in Lakeland, and we have an event coming up. I've got a colored flyer there. If you have a loved one that you really want to impress, call during Valentine's. We do them 12, 13, and 14 February. And believe me, I've been singing these things for years, and they're really a memorable event. We sing 2 or 3 songs, bring a rose, bring a personalized Valentine card, and a small box of chocolates. And we go wherever you send us as long as it's in the county. We've sung in schools, factories, meat lockers at public. We've done everything. So feel free to take a flyer.
We had some discussion over here about what if somebody has an event before you get back with the forms. I mean, obviously they need a form, but is there any chance that while you're out there, if you get it digitally, that you could push it to our organizations, the digital form, because several have big events coming up that they'd really like to capture the data.
And actually, I have a sample, and the form may change, I doubt it. I can send that to everybody today so that you can actually use that form
And then
in surveys.
transpose it.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Yes. The Lakeland Concert Band has a free concert this Sunday at the Youth Theater. The pre-show is the Music Ambassadors, which is our dance band. The dance band also is performing at a dance at Resurrection Catholic School Parish Hall the next Friday night on the 22nd. Excellent. And I have these cards that have our information on the front and all of our concert dates and venues on the back. You're welcome. You want to put those on the table? I'd be happy to. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Bob Tower Gardens will be having their Music at Pinewood series starting at the end of this month. January 31st is the first concert with the Harrison School of Arts. We'll also have ensembles with Southeastern University and Polk State College. There's 4 series, and we're partnering with the Lake Wales Arts Council with that. So please get on our website. You can get tickets there. I also have, I didn't bring very many, but there's a couple programs there with everything going on at Bob Tower Gardens. So we hope to see you at some of the concerts. Thanks.
I just want to make everyone aware that the Lakeland Art Guild now has dedicated space at the Lakeland Center just across from the box office. Actually, we've had it for about 18 months now, but it is artwork that is produced all the way from students through accomplished artists. However, every show is juried by a professional judge, so the artwork is wonderful quality. So anytime you're at the center for an event or so forth, please go by and see the art. And if you ever happen to see an artist, you want to give them a thumbs up. It's very exciting for the Guild. And you can now go to lakelandartguild.com and see all of the events, and people who are interested in art at that venue can see the meetings and so forth that the Guild has available.
That's a great venue.
Yes,
it really is. Anybody else? Yes.
Salads, and not as put together as everyone else, with flyers and what have you. As I said before, I'm Brenda Patterson from Lakeland Public Library. For quite a few years, we've been doing lots of different things: music, book discussions, movie discussions, people talk, senators. We've had Roxanne Gay, who's a well-known writer, come just recently. But we're doing even more. And so if you will go to our website, lakelandgov.net/library, or if you don't want to do that, just go to Google and say Lakeland Public Library events calendar, And we now have a nice events calendar, and it shows what we're doing through all of the libraries in Lakewood. And in fact, tomorrow night we'll have a musical group by the name of Hungry Town. They are a roots music group, a really nice duo, and it will be at the main library at 7 p.m. And then we also have classical music and a little bit of opera coming up on the 21st of this month at the main library at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. And then on Sunday, because usually we do our music on Sunday, on the 31st we have a Finnish folk group that will be coming and singing a little bit in English and Finnish, and it's really cool. And their name is Velamo, and they're there at 2 o'clock. And that is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have for you.
I think you need to talk to Bev.
It's all in our.
Yes. Okay.
And you know what I mean?
It's all on the website promotion,
And she
et cetera.
did a really nice little article too.
I got a piece on that, Hungry Town for tomorrow's paper.
I'm sorry?
The Hungry Town's coming.
Yes.
I did a piece to be running tomorrow's paper.
Oh,
And that's what it is.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just Google us, you know, the calendar.
Yeah, they're great.
And it's all in artifacts.
I have to say that
The
we're,
deadline.
you know, obvious, it wasn't until, I think it was about last year that we realized we could get artifacts to the libraries and they would distribute for
Yes.
us. And we had not done that before, so thank you.
It's like saying.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
And any of your arts organizations that want to publicize, we have a 5-day-a-week delivery system between all 16 libraries. So really all you need to do is get it to the Bartow Public Library, the Polk County Library Cooperative office is upstairs, and they'll send it out for you so you don't have to make 16 stops across the huge county. And we'll be happy to pass out your information to the thousands of people who come.
That's a great resource.
And people do come and ask. They look at our posters, not just for the library, the main library in Lakewood, but they look for stuff for all of the libraries and all of the different.
And actually, I said get it to Bartow. You can get it to any library.
And we make sure.
And we'll make sure it gets out to the other communities.
Right.
That's great.
Platform Art has a new experiential art space in the Dixieland Village, and we're partnering with other arts groups and organizations. So everyone is invited to sort of use the space. We're also creating a new artist in residence workshop area, and we'll be announcing that in February. We've had a series of soft openings, meaning we just had the door open to see what kind of people and how many people will walk through the door. So we'll be doing some more formal announcements as of February. So if anyone wants to use a space in that area or partner with us in any way, we're there.
Mary, please just, I want to introduce, on behalf of the Polk County History Center, I want to tell you about a beautiful piece from our heritage partners. Davenport has developed a really, really cool marketing piece that we create for really anybody. So they have a little historic walking tour that they created, and we are a distribution site for the walking tour as well as other places. But they took it another step and created matching complimentary postcards. So people can go on these tours, they can come here, and it's got welcome to Davenport, Florida, and on the back a pre-printed, found this quaint little town you have got to visit. So they pick these up here or wherever, send it home, and Davenport is promoting the Upper East Corner. So I just wanted y'all to be able to see what a great, great opportunity for marketing the Polk County Heritage Trail that Davenport has done. Thanks, Sarah.
Anybody else?
Sarah, did you patent Upper East Side?
I'm working on it.
Let them use it though, just, for a year or two.
They have disowned me because I live in Lakeland, so.
Yeah, but that's great. Upper East Side of Polk County.
Well, thank you all for coming, and I want to thank Murders too for hosting us at this beautiful museum and for the great job she's doing here to put this on the map. And so, please call me, email me, contact any one of us with anything. Thank you all.